She's a Toronto-based lawyer. She has a PhD in law. She has a master's in environmental studies. She's a mother. She's an immigrant to Canada from Jamaica. And she's the only woman and only visible minority in the Conservative leadership race. She's also an unapologetic social conservative with strong anti-abortion views. Meet Toronto lawyer and candidate, rookie candidate, Leslyn Lewis. Thanks so much for joining us. Glad that you could make it on the program today.
Thanks for having me, Evan. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you're unelected, you're a rookie here. Why do you think Conservatives should say, you know what, we should take a chance on a rookie and let her be the leader?
Well, Evan, you know, I've been in the party since 2009, and I've actually held positions in the party at the grassroots level. And in 2015, the Honorable Stephen Harper asked me to do the party a big favor, and that's step in after there was a scandal in a particular riding, Scarborough Rouge Park, and there was 4 weeks left on the election cycle, and I had to go in and run an election, and I did a very good job and received one of the highest vote counts in the GTA and in that riding's history.
But you didn't win, and that winnability is what politics is all about. Now, you're an avowed social conservative, and social conservative issues have been making news, as you know. Just talk about that, because even on your website, you're openly what you call, quote, pro-life. You've been endorsed by the Campaign for Life Coalition. You want to ban the practice, what you call sex-selective abortion, and I'll quote you, protect women from coerced abortion. What does that mean practically if you were a leader or the Prime Minister? Would you support rolling back access to abortion?
I was upfront with everybody. I wanted to make sure that I had no hidden agenda. And so, Evan, I've set out four clear policies that the majority of Canadians agree on. I believe that it's time to unite this country around issues that we agree on. And so my 4 policies, the majority of Canadians agree that a fetus shouldn't be terminated on the basis of its sex, that a woman, or because it's a girl, and that a woman should not be forced into abortion, and that women who find themselves in crisis situations should have assistance from the government in getting through those pregnancy crisis situations.
I understand that, but would you support rolling back access to abortion? I know you want to ban any money that Canada uses that supports any kind of that kind of birth control or abortion issues. So would you stop access to abortion?
No,
or make it more difficult?
What I've said is that I oppose Canadian taxpayer-funded overseas abortion because I oppose us imposing our values on other societies. That's clear. And I've set out 4 clear policies, Evan. I have not said anything other than those 4 clear policies. And that's why I put it in a no hidden agenda platform, so people know exactly which 4 policies I will be advanced. And that's the extent of my abortion policy.
What about same-sex marriage? Also been an issue. Would you march, I don't know, in solidarity in a pride parade? I know it's COVID-19, but if one could actually take place.
Well, Evan, you know, I didn't march in a pride parade before I became a politician and entered into politics. And really, I actually don't like when I see politicians using the gay community to advance their careers. And it's not something that I would do. And Evan, I think the important thing is to make sure that you will represent all Canadians with equal dignity and respect. You can look at some of the case law that I have argued in support of that community when their rights were being infringed. So I think that the test is to make sure that you have somebody that's representing Canadians equally.
On conversion therapy, it's been another big issue. You've said, quote, you've spoken to parents and pastors who are concerned about the government's ban on conversion therapy because it could criminalize them for helping children. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, Evan, it's how the conversion therapy is defined. Most people are thinking of conversion therapy as something that's very intrusive and, you know, and where people are coerced. But in this situation, the way it's defined as any act could include parents talking to their children about sexual issues or pastors talking to their children. And so I think that the conversion therapy law is fundamentally flawed in that regard.
But how, on the other end, how would you protect people? I mean, the fundamental issue of conversion therapy, as you know, is the basic assumption is that you can talk someone into their sexuality, and people are saying, no, this is a biological issue. You can't convert me from being straight or convert me from being LGBTQ. Do you believe you can be, quote, converted?
That's not what the legislation attempts to do, though, Evan. the legislation attempts to even prohibit parents from speaking with their children. And we need to make sure that people who are facing certain issues in society, that we have social mechanisms there to assist them. And one of the best is to have a strong family unit. And when you are alienating parents from their children, you are not offering assistance and love to that child. And I think it's very important that we maintain a strong family unit. And I think it's very important that we do not criminalize parents who love their children.
Right, but we're not talking about criminalizing parents. We're talking about protecting the rights of someone who says they're gay. But on the environment...
That's not true, Evan. You're talking about criminalizing parents to having a discussion with their children. That's what we're talking about, and that's what I'm opposed to. Right.
Well, okay. I want to move on from conversion therapy issue. On the environment, you got an MBA in environmental studies. You'd say you abolish the carbon tax. If you were the leader, would you commit to meeting Canada's Paris climate reduction goals? And if so, how would you get there if you don't have a price on carbon?
Well, you don't have to have a price on carbon in order to be environmentally sustainable, to have environmentally sustainable practice. Actually, the carbon tax, in order for it to be effective in changing behavior, it would need to be 40 times higher. And as such, it is only a wealth tax. It is not doing anything to change the environment and to change the behavior. What I would do is I would incentivize companies to create innovative technologies in order to protect the environment. And I would also invoke legislation which would assist the people in protecting the environment. And I would also implement an education, national education strategy.
Would you commit to meeting Canada's agreed upon Paris Climate Accord, the carbon reduction emissions in the Paris Climate Accord?
Only if it doesn't interfere with our ability to develop our natural resources and it doesn't interfere with our national sovereignty.
You're one of the four contenders, but you're the only unelected person right now, so you're the outsider. What needs to change in the Conservative Party in order to get them to win? What would you change?
Well, I would just make sure that we are the big tent party, that we respect each other's differences, and that means whether you're a progressive conservative or a social conservative, that we have respect for that. And also that we're united so that we can build a united country, address some of the regional discontent issues we have, start putting Canada first, create a strong economy, and create our strong national security interests.
Leslyn Lewis, great to meet you and great to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, Evan. Thank you so much for having me.